If you've ever stared at your home studio mic rack and thought, "Is this the one that finally makes my vocals sound like the pros?" you're not alone. The decision feels bigger than just picking a piece of glass and metal. It's about spending a chunk of your budget on something that could either lift your tracks or sit untouched on a shelf. I've been through that needle in a haystack moment more than once, and before you click away to the next option, let me walk you through why the Neumann TLM 67 might be the exact fit, or why you could save yourself some money and frustration. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the TLM 67 isn't a beginner's plug-and-play mic. It's a large diaphragm condenser designed for folks who already have a decent audio interface, a room that's at least somewhat treated, and a willingness to spend a little extra time dialing in the right sound. The core of its character comes from the legendary K67 capsule, a design that's been refined over decades and is revered for its warm, slightly vintage tone. That capsule gives the mic a subtle mid-range richness, which is why you'll often hear it on vocal tracks that need a hint of classic studio vibe without sounding overprocessed. Now, who should actually consider adding this to their gear? If you're a vocalist or spoken word artist who records in a controlled environment, think a home studio or a small professional booth, the TLM 67 can be a game changer. Its variable polar patterns, cardioid, cardioid inverse, omnidirectional, and figure 8, let you tailor the pickup to the situation. For example, a singer-songwriter working solo might stick to cardioid to keep room reflections at bay, while a producer tracking a duet or a small ensemble could switch to figure 8 and capture both sources with natural balance. That flexibility is not something you get on a lot of entry-level mics. On the flip side, if you're just starting out, you probably don't need the extra pattern selection, and you'll likely be recording in a bedroom that hasn't been acoustically treated. In a room like that, the TLM 67's wide frequency response, 20 Hz 20 kHz, can actually highlight the flaw's standing waves, boominess, and background noise, making those imperfections more audible than they would be on a more forgiving mic. In that scenario, you might get better results from a more forgiving, lower-priced model that purposely rolls off some low frequencies. Let's talk about practical strengths that become evident once you have the mic on your desk. The first thing most users notice is the presence of the Transformerless design. In a world where many condenser mics still rely on transformers to balance output, Neumann's approach reduces noise and delivers a cleaner signal path. What that translates to in day-to-day recording is a subtle reduction in hiss when you push the preamp gain, especially noticeable on quiet vocal passages or acoustic guitar fingerpicking. If you've ever been annoyed by that faint whoosh that seeps into a quiet track, the TLM 67 will likely keep it at bay. Another real-world advantage is the built-in shock mount. It's not a separate accessory you need to buy, it's integrated into the mix chassis, which means you won't have to worry about rattles caused by handling noise or external vibrations. For producers who jam on a desk while recording, this feature can make the difference between a clean take and a take that needs to be edited for low-frequency thumps. I've seen it eliminate the need for a third-party shock mount in setups where the mic is mounted on a desk stand, and that's a small but tangible convenience. On the downside, the TLM 67's price tag is a clear barrier. It sits in the high-end range of condenser microphones, and while the build quality and the K67 capsule are worth the premium for many, you need to weigh that against your overall budget. If you're already spending on a quality preamp, interface, monitors, and acoustic treatment, the mic alone could tip the scales beyond what you originally planned. In such a case, you might consider a slightly lower-priced large diaphragm condenser and allocate those extra dollars toward room treatment or better monitoring, which often has a bigger impact on the final sound. Another practical weakness is its size and weight. The TLM 67 is a fairly hefty microphone, and the integrated shock mount adds a bit more bulk. This isn't a problem on a sturdy desk mount but could be inconvenient if you need to move the mic frequently for different recording scenarios, say, setting up a quick vocal take on a portable rig or slipping it into a cramped boom arm setup for live streams. Users who require a lightweight, easily portable option might find the TLM 67 more of a stationary studio piece than a versatile field mic. The polar pattern switching, while a strong feature, does require a bit of learning. The switch isn't a simple click and cardioid label, you have to rotate a small dial and confirm the pattern using the LED indicator. In a fast-paced recording session, that extra step could interrupt workflow if you're not accustomed to it. However, once you incorporate the